It was Bahia. I was almost late to it, but Fortaleza.
Alright, so welcome everyone. I don't know if I met you.
Yeah, I'm Cynthia.
Cynthia? Hi, Cynthia.
Yeah.
I've seen some notes from you,
Oh,
posts
yes.
in WhatsApp.
Yeah.
I'm Sonia. I was
Okay.
in Brazil, now I'm back.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
good to meet you.
You too.
Nice.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, so let's start off with our prayer, and then we start to our reflections today about the parable of the gifts, and hopefully we can leave here with good reflections and new thoughts about our lives and the gospel. Alright, so without further ado, let's close our eyes and ask that Jesus and God be with us today. And may we thank God and Jesus to be here today. May our mentors, our guardian angels be with us and help us with the reflections, inspire us about our lives, about what is to be a good person, a good Christian. Thank you, Lord, for this opportunity to learn more about your gospel, your eternal teachings that help us among the darkness that we are still walking through. Thank you for this opportunity again, and help us with the reflections once again. So be it. Alright. So, we today are going to reflect, and that's the point. We're going to reflect together. So that's the reason that we are in circle. Good to see you.
I'm just gonna bring the microphone here.
Oh yeah, yes, sure. I forgot about that. Do I have to have a chair here? Or?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Chair.
might be, you may have a better understanding about what you're going to start talking today. So let me just start here. Oh. There's no sound. Okay, and this is important. No, but it's in Portuguese. I want to be, they speak in English. Can I share with you, Carol? Can you put that for me, please? Okay. No worries, guys. We can have a workaround here.
I think I already watched this video.
Did you?
I think.
Have anybody has seen this video?
Nope.
Okay. Can I share with in the group or with you
just
only?
share the group.
Okay.
And then I can open it.
I was so happy that I was able to put on my back. Oh.
Actually, you have a sound, but I think in your computer, not projected to the speaker, because I could hear like a no on your computer.
If your computer audio is low.
Okay, let me see. Yeah, but then people that are in home, they will not be able to see it. And that's the problem. I'm so sorry. Okay. Just 1 second. Carol, the name of this video is In the Hospital.
In the hospital. Okay.
Yes, can you see if you can find it?
I found it, but come here, let's see if I'm seeing the same thing as you. The hospitals.
Good things come to those who wait. So. Não é aquele ali a janela do hospital? Não. Ali no channel.
A janela do hospital. Yeah, that's
Janela.
That's the title.
Yeah.
Okay. What is not the channel?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Got it.
Got it.
Good catch. Now we can hear.
É só se eu fizer assim. I'm going to start here and you start there at the same time.
And then we
And then we can see and we can hear at the same time. All right? Okay.
Just go
Go back. You're
back.
23 seconds.
I'm not showing.
No, you need to come back. You are in 23 seconds.
Yes, need to come back here.
The point is not working, right?
This one. Oi.
You want to maybe leave from the presentation and then I can just drag to the screen?
Sure. Problema.
Sonia,
Press ask.
I marked
Where?
the passage there.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much. Are you showing or am I showing?
I can show you. I just
think
leave
you
your
are showing.
presentation with the video and
Just
then I
a
can drag to the screen on the wall.
Peraí, gente, que eu não tô achando onde é que tá o meu.
Só saia da. Só dá mais que isso.
Sai da apresentação.
É, mas eu não tô achando. Pode. Aí. Aí. Perfect. Thank you, Carol.
Can you volume up?
She just threw all the flowers in the ground and stormed off. She wants a ring. He's going after her. Forget it, kid. She's gone.
Hey, you know, if it wasn't for you telling me what's going on in that park, I don't know what I'd do.
I enjoy it.
You made me realize that there's plenty to enjoy without having to see it. Thanks.
Forget about it. Eat your lunch. Guess who's sitting on the bench, holding the flowers?
You're kidding.
I kid you not.
Well, what's he doing?
He's standing up. She's back.
She's what?
She's taking the flowers.
And what?
And she's giving him a big kiss. Up. He's back down on one knee again.
Uh-oh.
But this time he's got something else.
A ring?
Yep. You got it.
Way to go, kid.
Marty, are you ready?
Who can ever be ready for something like this?
I know, but it is time.
Well, if it's time, then it's time.
Good luck, my friend. Only one tray?
You didn't make it.
Nurse, will you do me a favor, please? Would you take a look down at that park and tell me what you see?
Mr. Johnson, there's nothing outside this window but a brick wall.
Thanks so much. What, let me just share here, but what do you think, guys, about this video? I'd like to hear from you. What is the outtake?
So you can change to your presentation now.
Well, I guess every day we have some sort of invitation to make someone's life a little bit better
Right.
and lighter.
Lighter, better. Who else? Good, perfect.
Yeah, I think there's obviously the aspect that he, was going beyond their situation, like making the best not even making the best, but you know, going beyond that. But just the importance of building connection with the person beside you, that relationship, it makes a big difference.
Perfect. Connections,
Yeah.
be better, see the bright side. What else?
Anyone is also poor and don't have something good for forgive for the other.
To give for others, to share what you have, right? So he had some of the bright side that he was seeing outside the wall, which was not anything real other than his imagination, but even though it was only imagination he was sharing. So could we say that he was sharing some happiness,
Yeah.
although he was in suffering?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think that this video has to do with the parable of the gates then, which I'm gonna read now? Thanks so much, Bruno, for find it for me. So the entire parable is this: enter through the narrow door, for the door to perdition is wide, and the path leading to it is broad, and there are many who enter through it. How small is the door to life? How narrow is the path that leads to it, and how few there are who find it. So, what do you think? Which door that guy that didn't make it at the end of the video, which door do you think that he was choosing to go through? The narrow one. And why do you think so?
Good question. I wanted to spread some joy, I guess. It wasn't the easiest one because you could just have told the other guy there was a brick wall over there, he couldn't see anything. So instead of doing that, he invented some sort of story from his imagination and shared it with him.
Right.
It wasn't the easiest one, but made the other guy happy.
Mm-hmm. How is, and that's a good point, a good segue that you give to us. It's not easy, and it's easier to pass through the wide door, right? You have more space. So it would be easier for him just to keep his feeling, sorrow, complaints, depression, feeling sorrow for himself. Instead, seeing his friend that could not see, that was going through the narrow door as well. But even though all that suffering, all that troubles in life, he was able to see the bright side. It's so I'm gonna use this rude example, but it's very familiar to anyone here, I'm sure about that. It's fun. It's the point is to get the lemon and make a lemonade.
I think it also has something to do with faith as well, because even though you're not seeing something, you're believing in it. If you just stick to what you have in this world, which is that wall,
Yes.
then you wouldn't be able to have faith. And when he brings that idea and makes him wonder what's going on, I think that has to do with faith as well.
Perfect. That's right. Has to do with faith. And how is our faith? How is our faith in terms of when we are facing struggles in life, problems, disease, loss? From where we get that faith to keep going?
We can get from the neighbor, from someone that can see and we can't, right?
That's right.
Has some different eyes or different perspective.
It seems like we always have the right words to say to the other people, but when we need it, We need someone else to do it for us, right?
Yes. It needs to be like that, do you think?
I think we can look at like our past selves as well, you know, how much we worried in the past and then how everything came through. You know, once everything is okay, we're like, oh, okay, yeah. I knew it was going to be okay, but then when you're in the thick of it, you know, so sometimes I find looking back would be helpful.
Right. So we can do the same, right? Sometimes we are overwhelmed with so many problems. Sometimes it's good to look around and maybe we'll see somebody that is in the same sufferings, the same situation, same troubles in life, but at least we can help somehow. We can help to see the bright side of everything. Because do you think that everything has a bright side, by the way?
Yes.
The dark and the bright.
All of these,
Both sides.
And I think that ties back into the premise of that video, which for me was, I think when the gentleman who had his eyes bandaged up in the early part said that you can appreciate things without having to see them. And I think that goes back to the idea of faith. Faith isn't something you see, it's something you feel. It's something that expounds out of you and out of the other, as in this particular example. But it's just as tangible and real. Going back to Lucy's point, she's absolutely right. We have a tendency to want everything to be clear and overt, to be able to tie in every single step along the way and know it's all going to work out before we even have to walk any of the trail.
That's a faith.
Well, but that's the point. That is the faith, is knowing that it's already all worked out, and what I'm walking is just the path that is having that come to fruition without needing to see any of the steps that I need to take or any of the obstacles I'm going to need to overcome, but knowing that they're already looked after, and in that way you can appreciate what it is without having to have seen it at all. And in this sense, it goes back to that narrow gate. It's not easy to find it. The one to perdition is so massive you can't miss it hardly.
Yes.
But the one that makes all the difference is the one that is so small that it's almost overlooked if you're even looking for it.
That's right. That comes then with Jesus said about strive to enter through the narrow gate. For many, I say to you, will seek to enter and will not be able. It's not that we are not able, or the many, it's not going to be able to see the narrow door, but comes to the point that the many of us are able to see the wide door because it's there, it's big, you cannot miss it. But maybe what Jesus is saying here is, it's not that we have a fixed destiny, that we are not, okay, I only can see the wide door, I'm not able to see the narrow one, so it's not my fault. Can I say that? Can I say that I cannot see the narrow door?
It's available to all of us.
Yes. So that comes to which law or which virtue that we all have.
For me, it comes back to the conscience, right? As we see in the Spiritist book, where God's law is written, and the answer is in the conscience, right? So all of us have the laws in our conscience.
Perfect.
Some of them, some of us may be, let's say, paralyzing or obfuscating them, or putting them right in very low volume so that we pretend that they are not there. But every action that we do with conscience gives us some instructions, right, and brings us reflections if we're doing the right or the wrong.
Which law in specific, Bruno?
Freedom?
Freedom.
The free will.
Free will. Exactly. Free will to make what?
Make choices.
Make choices.
Yeah, the law says that at no point we are obligated to do anything. right? We always
Yes.
have the choice between doing something that's valuable and something that's not valuable.
So that guy, he had a choice to be there complaining, sorrow for himself, or to through that brick wall, see a beautiful park with a couple that were having some plans to get married, to build up a family, and share that with the friend that couldn't see, right? He had that choice.
The friend had a choice too. When he realized there was a brick wall, he could be angry.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he lied to me. And he just cracked a laugh and said, okay, yeah, like, he could see that as a good, as a positive experience, and not like, he deceived me, he lied to me.
Exactly.
And we do that sometimes too, right? Like, we make things, like we color or we paint in a different color to someone else too.
Yes.
I believe when he left, when it wasn't true, wasn't like the truth, I believe was a kind of like a gratitude for the
Yes,
moment.
exactly.
For the moment, like they were sharing, and even in a very, very painful environment, they could feel like they could share good moments together.
Yes.
So,
Exactly. But is this easy, guys?
no.
No, especially that situation, right, where he was in a life that moment, right? You know, he didn't know what was going to happen to him. So as you said in the beginning, he could literally have drowned himself in depression, you know, and preoccupation with that moment that was to come.
Mm-hmm.
But he chose to live a positive experience, and he chose to, on top of that, chose to do good to someone else, right, who was beside him suffering as well.
Exactly.
And one thing that is important is he could complain, he could still like had bad thoughts, but he also could stay quiet. And how many times we remain quiet instead of talking something good for other people around us.
That's right.
That could help him, that could do a kind of charity to other people. And that's one thing, at one point, caught my attention.
That comes to what Jesus said about why are you shy, right? When we see somebody that are more talkative, but they are not aligned with the divine laws, they are not doing good, and the ones that should do something good, like he said that to the disciples. Why are you shy? Why you don't go there and you show to people that you are good, that you know about the divine laws, right? And talking about that, the narrow gate, which is hard to pass through because it's narrow, and we have a good understanding now what is passed through this narrow gate. I would like to bring to you. I'm not able to share this thing because I don't know what Louise did. Yeah, I don't know how to share this. Louise did for me. I'm so sorry to be so dependent. You changed the computer. You know those. If you change the computer, I am totally lost. Yeah. I like my cell phone. I don't like to change it because otherwise I'm not gonna be 5 hours trying to figure out how to. It's something here.
So you gave it an opportunity to not be shy and to help.
Yeah, exactly.
We're applying the lessons in real time.
Yeah, it's something here. Huh? It's FSS Calgary project second extend.
Can be extended.
Extended. Did you click that? Well, what I would like to bring is, all right, so if we are going to this narrow door or to this narrow gate, because you want to see the bright side, but without knowing why we need to go through this narrow gate, it's not more difficult than we know why we need to go there?
The extent.
I decide to see the bright side. Let's see. I can see the bright side of everything because I have a knowledge that, let's say, between you and me, Renata, I know why I need to make those choices to go through the narrow gate, to see the bright side of everything, to try to be, to try to be a better person. Okay, but you don't have the same knowledge that I have. Why? Because I study and I know about the law of cause and effect. I know about the law of reincarnation. Is this make my life better or easier than yours? This can impact my faith?
I think a little bit, right?
I think so.
I think makes your life hard work because you know the path and you need to follow the path. It's not something like it's hard and you don't know, like something like you have a conscience that you should do, and sometimes you blame yourself because you are not doing the right things you know you're supposed to do.
I think the more you know, the higher the responsibility.
Perfect. There you go.
But I think life is easier too because instead of seeing the pain, you see the challenge and the opportunity. So you are able to shift perspectives in a way, right?
Yeah,
You don't dwell.
The idea about the dark and bright side that everything has. So at the same time, you have a tool because you know you have the knowledge. So you know exactly what you can do, or maybe at least a clue how to achieve what you're supposed to do.
Right, because you know your...
And you have a second chance to change every single day. You know you can change. You're not it's not a the end. So you can restart again and again.
So if I am understanding you, we are not destined, or we don't have that faith to go through the wide door, right? We can stop in front of both and see which one that I want to go through. And why should I go through that narrow gate? Is that right? And this comes to what Cynthia said about the responsibility, because I know, so I'm responsible for the choices that I make. Is that right? And why is that? Because we have one law, the law of freedom, that is linked to the other law.
Merit or responsibility?
Responsibility. Carol?
I was just going to say that there's another way for me to understand and to see the parable as well, which is because we only see the gate as narrow because we are imperfect, because we are mortal spirits imperfect. So when you decide to go with the narrow door, comes the law of responsibility, comes the law of free will, because you're deciding to go to that rough path, but because you're still imperfect. But when you start exercising and seeing the life on the good side, in a bright side, that narrow door it's not going to be so narrow anymore, right? Because you're not only angry, you're not getting angry with these situations that happen to you anymore. You're just accepting with resilience, right? So then the narrow door starts to be opening a little bit more. So it's another way to see it.
That's amazing.
I think it's a little bit like a discipline. Usually we see that as like a prison or rules or whatever, but actually discipline, say a structure, is very freeing, right?
Exactly.
Once you accept them without, it's all perspective. If you see it as a way to strengthen you, as opposed to a way to, chain you up, then it frees you, as opposed to like not having any rules or whatever. You're lost, right?
Maybe the door is not narrow. Maybe our ego is too big. Perspective, right? Yeah.
Maybe we are trying to enter through this narrow door with lots of luggage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to do a ego diet.
There you go. That's the great point. Thanks so much. That's the point. So sometimes do we want to go through this narrow door with all the beliefs and all the ways that we see life? And maybe we should be open up. Maybe we should open our eyes a little bit and try to leave behind some prejudice, some beliefs that chain us through a big, big package that we cannot go through that narrow door. So if the narrow door is small, maybe we should
let go.
Let go.
Lighten up.
Yes, because that will make us make it easier to squeeze between that door, and also make it lighter, better. And also we can count on with helpers there. We always have helpers, right? We could see in that video. Nobody is by himself. Nobody is alone. So maybe, and this is something that I would like to share with you, because when I was little, not too little, 10 maybe, I went to this church with my dad. It was a Protestant church, and there was this big picture on the wall, and this wall had, and there was these two gates, and I was very impressed, because I was, my gosh, what is this? And I couldn't stop looking at that picture. I couldn't hear anybody because I was looking at that thing. And there was this big, big gate and a narrow gate. The big gate was like lots of people walking through, and bars and parties, people well dressed, smoking, everything. Nothing against it, but was that how the picture was showing. And how that's what I was looking at that and think, okay, what is this? And the other narrow door was like a cliff and very narrow pathway to go through, rough and very, very difficult to walk through. And very few people were walking through there, and they were like sad and struggle. But now I can understand that narrow door doesn't need to be sad, doesn't need to be struggle. Could be like that guy that was showing there, like seeing the bright side. And now I can see the narrow gate can have lots of people helping each other and happy to be there and in peace to be walking through that narrow door.
You can go there and display a new picture, the third picture.
Exactly.
With a new scenario.
Exactly.
Going like
exactly. And what is the problem? So if you have places to go to have fun here, why not? We cannot. We are forbidden to enjoy life? No, we are not. However, it's up to you to make choices that place that I'm going is good for me. I'm going to get good vibrations there. I'm going to have good energy from there. I'm going to be poisoning my body. I'm going to be collaborating with some types of things, like our beliefs that that lead us to hate or prejudices. So it's up to us to evaluate that type of entertainment that I'm going through, because we're not forbidding of anything. There is any forbidden law in God's law? No. God allows us to do what we want to do, but we are responsible for everything that we do. So I'm not going to go through all the deck, because there are so many things here that we are not going to have a time to talk about. I kind of deviate a little bit what I had prepared. But I would like to bring this to you, because this is in the Gospel according to Spiritism. And Kardec will say that sometimes we read the Gospel, we go through the Gospel, read, but we don't understand what Jesus say, his teachings. But when we have this understanding about our previous life, Jesus' words makes sense. We can understand his indications much better. And that's what the Kardec is saying here, with the previous life of the soul, the horizon is enlarged. Light is shed on the darkest point of faith. So that comes to the faith. We have our faith strength much more when we know why we need to go through that narrow door. Why we should accept Jesus' invitation. The present and the future becomes solidary with the past, and only then can one comprehend all the depth, all the truth, and all the wisdom of the maxims of Christ. So makes sense when Jesus invites us to go to the narrow door. He's not saying, hey, you should not go to the parties and have fun. You should go through this narrow and very steep pathway here just because I'm saying to. He's explained to us what is the better choice for us. To comply with our purpose in life. Or somebody here. I don't know about that. I don't think so. I don't know about that. But anyways, everyone has a purpose.
And I think as everything that Jesus said, right, there's so much more than just the actual word that's used. And this is a good example, right? Because, for example, the traditional vision when he brought that from the Protestant churches, to get to this narrow door here, you have to suffer, right?
Yes.
That's very incorrect, right? We don't need to suffer to be happy, right? To achieve happiness. We need to comply with the laws and not violate them, which is, I think, one of the big benefits that we do have here with these studies, which are reflexes, right? Mm-hmm. We understand the divine laws and we understand the impacts of them in our lives, right? So that is already one of the challenges that I would have against that image, right? Those
yes.
who are walking that road, they are not suffering. They are actually happy, right, to have chosen that path. That's number one. And number two, the door is narrow because he also said something related to many are invited, few are chosen, right? So why would you build such a large door if literally a very small fraction of the population on Earth at the moment is choosing the narrow door, right? So that's yet another analogy that says, the door has to be narrow because not many are coming here, right?
Yes.
And the third one, very related to what he said, actually exactly what he said, right? In order to get to a narrow door, you have to diminish yourself, right? We have too much ego in everything that we do, right? We're very proud of what we do, proud of our diplomas, proud of our, speaking 12 languages, and proud of achieving so much and having, none of that matters when you think about what you're bringing from this life into the other one, right?
Exactly.
So it's essentially just your moral and intelligence. Those are the only two things that you carry forward. We understand that the world at the moment is full of intelligent people, very low moral, right? And that is why most of them are choosing the big door, right? Because they are living the world's life and not thinking about the eternal life of the Spirit.
Exactly, and that's what comes to what Jesus said about the blessed are the afflicted, right? Because they are be consoled. So when we have this knowledge, when we have we do the egoistic diet, we get rid of all this pride and egoistic feelings. We understand that we are not here to suffer, but we are not here just to enjoy life and not do what we plan to do.
I think it's really like we're not here to suffer, but also life is not to be meaningless or random things that will just fulfill time, right?
Yeah.
And thinking about, like, for me, the narrow door is like you gotta leave lots behind, and one is this vain connection with the materialistic world. For example, diplomas or the best, the brand new car or those kind of things.
Exactly.
It's not that you can't, but if life is solely to fulfill this purpose, then it's meaningless.
Exactly. That's
So
the
it's
point.
just like, in other words, I think it's an invitation to consciousness. You make choices over and over every day. Each step you take, you choose a certain direction, and this is a choice. So going through the narrow door, you can't go with your eyes closed, right? You can't walk anywhere because the door is so big you will get there, but you gotta focus on this door, and the door is whatever purpose you have, like in this existence or as a soul in life in general.
That's right, and that's very important. You need to get focused. Otherwise, you're not going to find the narrow door. You're not going to be able to see, and that's the point. We need to use our virtue of discernment, as Jonah Gentili says here, right? Discernment to distinguish what is the best for us. What is to comply with the divine laws through the exercise of the essential virtues of life, which is humility, which is, you can name so many, fraternity, solidarity, one more guys, freedom, responsibility, so many of them. The virtues are the noblest feelings that human being can develop. So that's the thing, that's what we are here for, to develop those virtues. And in order to develop virtues, it's not something simple, it's not something easy to do, but it's something possible, and that's what we are doing here. Reflecting is a virtue. So when we reflect, we are able to exercise our discernment virtue. And this is what Emmanuel says. Whatever experience you have on earth, remember that no one is giving a credo among men to settle down in inertia, in deliberate disregard for the laws that govern life. Our duty is our school. What is duty for you?
What we're meant to do, that which we're here, well, in this particular context, would be what we're here to do, to kind of evoke the laws that God has set for us in our own lives. And the other thing that I think, Juliana, you made a great point, is that, you know, the rest, all that guides us to the big door, all these distractions in our lives that keep us from being what we're really meant to do in this world. And I think the underlying inference there is that, and this goes back to the great analogy from a while about you need an ego diet, is that when you go on a diet, it means you have too much of something. But that also means that underneath it all, you already have what you need. You already have what you need to get through that door. You don't need to go out and find some key somewhere out there and all the distractions to say, oh, here it is, and then I can unlock it and get in there, and I'm feeling around and amongst all the muck of all the attachments, all the, you know, the devices, the greed, the gluttony, and everything else. It's that it's already there. It's already there, right there with me. And actually, I need to shed extra stuff that has made me miss the point of what's already there. But as soon as I do that, as Carol so eloquently put it, that narrow door becomes just a massively wide cavernous valley that we probably couldn't miss if we literally just closed our eyes and fell backward. We still fall through it, right? Because it just becomes the only thing, right? But the only door that's left, and it goes back to the fact that it's because we finally are just living through ourselves what is already in ourselves, what God has blessed us with there, to ensure that we can't miss it. There's nowhere to look. Just feel it through yourself, and it will present itself. And so I think that also reinforces what we're here to do on this earth. The earth is full of the distractions, but we already have the guidance before we even got here. And if we just listen, and actually one of the things, and I can't remember where it is, I know it is though, and it's in the early part of the Spirit's book where it says, you know, people, there's this answer to a question about how we should guide ourselves, and it'd be like, man would do a lot better if rather than thinking about like convoluting every decision. They just listened to their instincts and went with that. And I'm paraphrasing a little bit here, but it's that instinct that guided animals and plants and everything. It was not bad. It is gloriously good, and we still have it. We call it different things. A lot of people call it a conscience, but it's there. And if we would just listen to that, we'd do a lot better for ourselves rather than complicating everything with so much reason and thought and rationality that we end up thinking out of the most obvious and helpful decision to one that's much less beneficial because we decide to be clever in the process. But
thank you so much.
That was a good summary.
Oh, yes. Exactly, that's perfect. And it's great that you brought those knowledge we already have. We are not here abandoned by God. God provides us with this sense that guides us through the right pathway. And He always also provides us, I need to skip some slides here, provide us with a guide. Have you ever heard this teaching from Jesus? I am the door. Whoever enters through me will be saved. They will come and go out and find pasture. And I have a great example that I learned from Arthur Valadares about this. He gives us this example. Let's say that someone offends me. How can I react? How normally we react. Angry, right? Pride comes up. Who do you think you were to tell me this? And we start arguing and fighting, right? This is the narrow door or the wide door? So, if we do that, if we react in this negative way, we are creating more and more problems, issues. We are creating more toxic energy. And we are going to be free from that energy or attach it to it. Attach it. If we decide, okay, we are going to use my discernment, my virtue of discernment that Attila also brought us in a so great way. I used the virtue that I already have in my side of me, in seeds, but I want to exercise that virtue. I'm going to focus on myself and I'm going to say, okay, God, help me to be humble. I'm not going to react. I'm going to try to give this person a polite answer. I'm going to try to avoid any type of argument. Which narrow am I? Sorry.
You gave us the answer.
Narrow door.
There we go. And which door I'm choosing to enter? Narrow. Right? So I am going to be attached to the negative energy, or I'm going to be free.
I think if you'll be free if you do it actually internally, right?
Sure.
Because I think the ego can masquerade as like, no, I'm going to be the higher person here.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yes, and that's very common.
Yeah.
Very
so also
common.
to not fall in that trap, you know?
That is also
like
a
a wide
pride.
door that is painted narrow, but it's actually wide.
Exactly, because behind that act of humbleness, I am being proud.
Yeah, it's not.
It's
the right
another way
reasons.
to be proud.
Yeah.
I'm not going to show myself. I'm going to pretend that I am polite and I'm going to answer in this way, but deep inside, I am angry, right? So the invitation is to work towards the anger inside of ourselves, embrace it, say, okay, I am apprentice, I'm still feel angry, that's fine, but I'm gonna show it, I'm gonna masquerade, or I'm gonna really try to be humble here. So, and understand the invitation, right? Because we don't go through anything in life by chance. If something finds us on our way to us, we are invited to, okay, what I need to learn from this. Right? Get the lemon, make a lemonade. Guacamole. you can make a mousse. You can make a cake. Lemon pie, whatever. You have lots of chances. So when we do that, we will find pasture. Yeah. Because we will be able to go through that situation, but we are also be able to get out of this. We are not going to be attached to that situation. When we used to say that when we hate somebody, we are connected with that somebody, with that person. When we love somebody, we are free. When we really love, not that love that is possession, right? It's something that we love. I love you, so I'm going to free you. Because I want to see you happy. So when we do that, we are able to come and go. We are not going to be that chain that will be get us there without be able to get out and get in. And get out and get in, we also can think about reincarnation. We come and go, come and go. So we want to come back to this earth because naturally we will be able to, we need to come back to learn more and more lessons. I'm going to be free from several problems or situations that I didn't know how to handle this life, or I want to be freedom. I want to be a little bit more in peace and be able to have a better life in terms of have good consequences. Because according to the law of cause and effect, when I do something, I will get that something back. Of course, we have the law of mercy. That is always try to accommodate our consequences in a better way, in a lighter way. So we are able to handle that situation better, right? So that's the invitation, to go through the narrow door, the door that is Jesus. His teachings is there. It's not Jesus in person. When I'm saying Jesus, not the Jesus image and just, be there adoring or worship Jesus, not that. It's his teachings. Like this teach, narrow door, wide door. We have choices. So, thinking about that, I just would like to leave those self-reflections. You don't need to answer those questions, but just think about it in your hearts. Why Jesus invited us to enter through the narrow gate? Hopefully you were able to answer this question already in your heart through all the reflections that we went through here. And what is stopping me from going through the narrow gate? Maybe it's the excess of things and feelings that I am carrying on right now. Maybe it's because I don't want to yet. Maybe it's because I don't want to make efforts. We have those choices. We have any choices. But we also have the consequences of the choices, even though we don't want to choose. If we decide not to choose, it's a choice. Okay, so that's what I would like to leave you with today. Yes?
Just one little comment about that too, Sonia. Because when we read about Jesus' invitation, together with the invitation comes the exercise, right?
Yes.
So we already said about exercise, but I think it's always good to say over and over again about how important it is for us to exercise, because this is the key word for it's the starting point. So when you start exercising, then it's where like, okay, it's the first push, it's the first step. And the exercise comes and gets easier and easier because you're constantly exercising. So even when we say, oh, I don't have any faith, I don't pray, for example, right? Like, okay, I'm going to start today praying. It's going to be out of my comfort zone sometimes. But when it's going to get easier and easier, right? When you're doing over and over again. So the invitation always comes with the exercise. And yeah, I really like to just say this again.
Thank you.
It's how we start.
Of course.
Any
Thank
diet is easy, right? Any.
Yeah.
And need to do exercise, right? You need to
Same
do
thing,
good
right?
choice.
Yeah.
And some people say that is a sacrifice.
Yes.
Right? But in the end of the day, sacrifice means sacrificio or divine hard work. That is the word, right? So,
And that's how we evolve.
yeah, hard work.
But even if you get this analogy of diet, right, more, the diet is so much harder at the beginning, but then when you're exercising and you're doing over and over again, it gets easier too.
Yeah, and becomes just good choice. It's not sacrifice anymore.
Yeah, and then you see the benefits.
Yeah.
Mhm. Exactly. Thank you so much, everyone. Anyone? Any other comments? Any other questions?
Thank you.
No? Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for everyone. You helped me a lot with the technology, find the gospel and everything. So sorry, guys.
It was the first time doing that? Or no?
This is how I want to do from now on.
I know, but it was the first time
No. Louise have done before, right?
I think Sonia was the second time and Luis done one time.
Yes.
Mesa redonda.
Yes. We're gonna.
Around there, right?
Yes. So yes, I really feel more comfortable doing this way because everybody can talk. There's no a person that is just giving. It's somebody we are sharing, and that's my thought. I guess would be much better. This is what helped me so much with my learning process. I learned so much from you guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Sonia, can I just do an announcement? No, it's just because I brought finally I brought the attendance list. So there is you put your name and there is a field that you can feel like, I'm going home feeling. So in this moment, try to feel what you absorb in this moment and which feeling are you bringing home, and and don't forget to sign.
Okay. Thank you. Carol would like to post the announcement so everybody can see it. Yeah, so this is the announcement that I would like to leave with you guys. We are inviting everyone to come to the Spirit Center, to get together, because that's the core of our of the Spiritism. We are invited to reflect, to study together, to help each other with your questions and struggles in life. And that's what the gospel invites. This is what Jesus did since the day one. He was always among people and teaching. And that's because Spiritism is actually an example how was the Christianism at the first beginning. We are invited to be together. I guess it's much better when we are here together than at home watching through online, because there are so many options there. Nothing against it. If you want to stay home and watching online, that's fine. But when you are here, our hearts are brighter.
Because it's different too. It's not passing on information, right?
Yes.
It's not only pure knowledge. I think there is more that we share that is unspeakable.
That's
It's
right.
difficult to put in words when we are together, for sure.
And we share our energy.
Share our energy. Thanks so much. Any questions from the people at home? Okay, good. So let's do our final prayer then. We go to the passes. Dear Lord, our Master Jesus, all the spiritual friends that are here with us today, thank you so much for all your help, inspirations, reflections. Thank you for helping us walk towards the narrow gate. Thank you for welcome everyone here with your open arms, with your light, with your love. May all us go back home with the light that any one of us bring inside of us, even more brighter, so we can share. We can share love, we can share solidarity, fraternity with our loved ones at home and anyone or anywhere we are, that we can share the light that we have inside of us, making this world even brighter, even better, starting with ourselves. Help us, Jesus, to make good choices, now and ever. So be it.